So here's the general step of all the things we've talked about so far today. We're going to list all the integers that evenly divide into the constant terms. That's what we just did up here. This is our search, okay? These values here, they represent our search of possible candidates. Okay, we'll talk about some strategies here. For example, if you were faced with this possibility, right? You're not wrong to do this, but you're probably making extra work for yourself to test numbers like 72, because that's a lot harder to do. It's a big calculation than numbers like 1. So it's not that it's more likely that the factor is 1 instead of 72. I'm just saying if you're going to start somewhere, why not pick the easiest numbers first? Okay? But this is step number 1, our search. Then what we have to do is use the factor theorem to see, is the number a factor? Okay, so is the number from our search going to be a factor? That's this step here. Okay, once we know the factor, so at this point, this is where the factor has been found. Then we reduce it with hopefully synthetic division so that it goes quickly. And we can do this good step here of checking, double checking ourselves. And then we factor the remaining values of the quotient. Okay, so that's a lot of steps written out, a lot of language. When we practice, you'll see the procedure is pretty, you don't need to memorize. Basically, it has look for your possible factors, test your possible factors, use your possible factors. Okay, so let's try one here from scratch. Okay, so see how nice I was? Well, I know this one isn't in your homework, so I guess I'm being nice to myself so that I only have to do a couple of numbers to test. So what's my search space going to be for the first example?
1.
And?
1.
And?
1.
Negative 1.
Thank you. Negative 1 also, right? You have to check the positive and the negative. So for this one, it would be both 1 and negative 1. So let's check my search space and see who wins. Maybe both are factors. Maybe only one of them is. So let's put in 1.
At least one will have to be because the last number is positive.
Okay.
So one of them have to be positive.
Okay, that's a good way to reduce your search space as well. -1, -1, +1. Look at that, first try. Yay. Okay, so what that means then is I know the value I used was x equal to 1. What's the factor going to be? Good. So the factor is x minus 1. Okay? So now we have a place to start. We can do some synthetic division. So 1, -1, -1, 1, and 1. Okay? So if we do this, yeah, lots of 1s. And I bet you it's still likely that I may make a clumsy mistake here, but 0, 0, so -1, 0. Okay, so remember this is what I was hoping to check on, that remainder still appears. And this tells me that it's x squared minus 1 as the quotient, which factors to x plus 1, x minus 1. So the answer for this question would be x minus 1, which is here, the first one I found, and then the remaining terms, which were x plus 1 times x minus 1. Okay, so there. Now that I've done the easy one, I'm going to let you work ahead on 30. Okay, not that many factors, but again, see if you can start with the easy one. See if you can find a factor out of something like 1 or 2. Okay, so I see a lot of people furiously working in their calculators. Keep going if that's you. Hopefully you're not muttering bad words about me under your breath. But the candidates that you could pick here would be plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 5. Holy smokes. Plus or minus 6, plus or minus 10. Now where am I here? Plus or minus 15, and plus or minus 30. Okay, so I'm feeling lucky. I'm feeling like, I'm going to check -2. Okay, so if I put in negative 2,
Yeah, so smart.
would you look at that? I'm gonna go buy a lotto ticket after school today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First try. Okay.
You're one of the
So,
winners.
if negative 2 was the factor, the number I used, then what's the factor going to be?
X plus 2.
Yeah, so that means it's going to be x plus 2 is my first factor. Okay? Now, it is possible that you go through the list and look for the rest of the factors, but you're probably all thinking, why on earth would I want to check all of those values instead of just doing the synthetic division? Okay, so at this point, you know, we could keep searching through there to find the rest of them, but why not try this here? So this will be synthetic division to find the rest of the answer. 1, so that'll be negative 2, 2, negative 15, 30, 0, so I know it worked. So now I have x squared plus 2x minus 15, which will turn into x plus 5, x minus 3. So the answer for this question has 3 parts. The first one, x plus 2, x plus 5, and x minus 3. So these two values here tell me that it would also work if I chose from this batch and used x equals negative 5 or 3. So you would have also found the right answer if that was where you started your search as well. Okay, so if you're still working, keep going, but I'll try to catch up to you. In some of the exams, I've actually just seen, oh, don't go to sleep. In some of our exams, I've actually seen this, the first part of the question. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at 60, not 63. So 2, yeah, then it should be 4, then 8, then 16 as well, then 32, and 64. So I've actually seen some exam questions, like especially the ones the district puts out. This would be part A. What are the first, what candidates are possible factors? And then they just give a list like this, A, B, C, or D. You pick the list that you'd search from. So it's a good idea if you're not so keen, if you're not remembering it, to start writing them out like this, just so you know they come from the factors. I don't know. I think this time maybe I will choose x equals to 1 and see what happens. So then I get 1 cubed minus 17 times 1 plus 80 times 1 minus 64. And look at that. I get a good choice again. It works out. This is a factor. So I will go x minus 1. I know that one is a factor. Use synthetic division. And that means, let's see here, negative 16, so that'll be 64, 64. So yeah, it worked out, and I end up with x squared minus 16x plus 64. So to get up there, looks like it'll be, sorry? Negative 8 and negative 8. Yeah, that looks good. X minus 8, x minus 8. So my answer is going to be x minus 1 times x minus 8 times x minus 8. Okay?